Am I ever gonna finish this playset run? When I started collecting vintage Star Wars playsets, I thought it was gonna be a piece of cake. Collect them all, they said. I'm starting to realize it's a lot harder than I thought. So let's go over everything I have and everything that I need. And I changed my list just a little. And I think I just made it harder. So let's go. Welcome back to the journey, everybody. And for those of you who watched my last collection run, I went on a run where I collected all of the action figures made by Kenner from 1978 to 1985. And I started with no figures, and I shot it all on video for you to see what it's like trying to go on that quest and completing it. A link to watch that run is down in the description. And if you remember, in the middle of that quest, I did what I called halftime, where I took a look at what I've gotten so far and what I still needed. So let's do that today. Plus, there are a couple of items that I added, and I wasn't gonna add those items before as I thought of them just as simple variants, but they are different enough and historical enough, well, it's hard to ignore not having them. But first, if you're here because you love videos like this, please give this video a like and also consider subscribing for more of these types of videos. So let's review what I've gotten so far on this playset run. On episode 1, I explained my rules and how I'm going to go about preparing for this journey. So if you need to watch that, the link is down there in the description. On episode 2, I got a great example of the Death Star playset, and I went on a hunt to get this over at the Frank & Son collectible show. And if you've ever been there, that place is like walking into a Costco, except it's full of collectibles of all kinds. And I drew a map in case you want to know where all the good Star Wars vintage items are. I got the playset and box for $200 after making a deal because there were a few things missing, like the cardboard inserts, the mini catalog, but the instructions came included with it. There was also a beam that was broken but functional, and the laser cannon feature was broken, but I was able to fix it when a viewer sent in replacement parts for me to fix the unit with. I wanted to start out strong, so I'm glad this was the first playset on this run. In episode 3, I reviewed how I got my Jabba the Hutt action playset, and I got a very nice one with all the cardboard inserts, baggies, figures, and parts, plus all the paperwork that it originally came with. And the price was fair on this one at $275. Because so many of these playsets were made and so many exist of them still boxed in this condition that you can find them for prices like this still. It's still quite a bit of money, but nothing like the thousands of dollars that some of these playsets could cost. I got this from a seller on Facebook from the Vintage Alliance group. On episode 4, I got a playset that I never knew existed until I started collecting again 2 years ago. The Imperial Attack Base. I thought this one is a cool playset with all its features, and I was able to get it complete with all the paperwork, but no cardboard inserts. I went on a local toy hunt to a shop called TC's Rockets right here in San Diego to get this one. And I got it for a fair price of $80. My main complaint about this playset was that it isn't from a scene in the movie. So I feel this one is a bit of a generic playset that you can basically use for other toy lines like G.I. Joe. But nonetheless, we picked it up and I'm happy to have this as part of my playset run. On episode 5, a playset that is directly from a movie scene and one that I had when I was a kid. That's the key word. I have no idea what happened to this one, so when I reconnected with this toy, I was super happy. I got it when I visited the ICC Con in Nashville, and if you're a Star Wars vintage collector, that is the convention to go to. I was able to pick up this complete version for $100, and it came with the paperwork, but no cardboard inserts. And to watch all these videos and see the full reviews and tips and tricks to these playsets, the link is in the description. Making these videos takes a lot of time, a lot of research, and a lot of money. But with your help, these videos are possible. You can join my community on Patreon for as low as $2.50 a month, or become a member on YouTube for as low as 99 cents a month. But if you want to see these videos continue and get better and better, please visit the links down in my description for your support. I thank all my supporters. Now, back to the video. Episode 6 saw us getting one of the most pristine playsets that I have ever gotten on this run, the Jabba the Hutt Dungeon from 1984. This came with figures from the Power of the Force, Barada, Amanaman, EV-99, and I was able to get them still sealed in great looking baggies. Plus, all of the contents are still sealed with everything included and unused. I paid a hefty price for this at $1,356, and I got this on an app called the Collector's Alliance, where pristine vintage collectibles and things like that are always on sale there. On episode 7, it was the Dagobah playset, and I wanted this so bad when I was a kid, and some of my friends had it, and I would always walk by this one on the toy shelves in 1980, wishing I could get one. Well, wishes do come true, and I finally got one. And that's the thing I love about going on these vintage toy runs with you. We get to reconnect with our childhood and revisit these toys that brought us so much joy, even if we didn't get a chance to own them as kids. Vintage collecting is a great hobby, I think. I was able to get this playset complete with all of the parts in great shape and intact, like the original foam swamp pit, and we all know how hard this one is to find in great shape. It came with all the paperwork and all the cardboard inserts. I paid a respectable but not outrageous $300 for it from a shop on Instagram called Toys We Remember. Episode 8 brought us another large-scale playset in the Ewok Village, and this one was another one I was excited about because, yet again, I always wanted one as a kid. But back then, this came at a high price for parents to buy, and in getting this one, you realize how many small parts there are, and how hard it is to find this playset complete and in great working shape. I was able to go on a local toy hunt again and got this at a shop called TC's Rockets right here in San Diego. It came in a great box with the instructions but no cardboard inserts, and I paid a respectable $320 for this one. On episode 9, I went on a massive toy hunt yet again at the Frank & Son Collectible Show in Los Angeles, where I picked up a great box version of the Creature Cantina action playset. The box looks great and the playset is complete, but there is no paperwork, and I got this one for $180. Episode 11, I went over what I think is the weirdest playset to come from the Vintage Star Wars Kenner line, Darth Vader's Star Destroyer. But I was able to pick up a beauty of an unused version of this playset with all of the parts in baggies, unused contents, all the cardboard and paperwork, and a gorgeous box. I got this from the Collector's Alliance app again for $1,000 even, but for such an odd playset, I was glad to get this one in pristine condition. So going from what I think is the worst playset to now in episode 12, going to what I think is the best playset, the Droid Factory. And I love this one because of the fact that it came with so many parts that you can build droids with and use your imagination to build whatever you wanted. And I was able to get this playset in 2 variants. The original Star Wars version I got complete with the paperwork, but nothing was sealed or unused. I paid $165 from the Imperial Commissary on Facebook, and then I picked up one in the Empire Strikes Back box, but this time, all of the contents came unused, which for me, getting it like this is so special because of the respect I have for this toy and its place in toy history, so I was thrilled to get it in this pristine condition. I bought this from a seller on the Imperial Commissary on Facebook for $1,250. Episode 14 brought me the Hoth Ice Planet, and now we are getting into the cardboard playsets from here on out mostly, and these are interesting because not only were they exclusive playsets that you had to get from a catalog back in the day, but they were often reused from other playsets, and this one is no exception. So watch the full episode for all of that history, but I was able to get this one for a fair price of $200, and it came complete with the box and the instructions. And now this takes us to the last of the playsets that we have, and then we're gonna go over what I'm still hunting for. On episode 15, we found the Jabba the Hutt dungeon, this time from 1983, and we went on a hunt in Nashville at the ICCC to a seller that we trust, Ryan, and he sold us a great complete version with all of the figures still in baggies and all of the parts still in baggies as well. Not completely sealed, but still in great shape with a gorgeous box and the paperwork. I was able to get this for $325. So now we get to what I need and what I'm hunting for. And all of these I am actively hunting for, and all of these last items, they're hard to find, especially when you're trying to hunt for these in great shape and in great boxes. So the first one is one that isn't particularly hard to find in a box, but for some reason, I can't find one in great shape. I can't find it complete, and I can't find it that's in a fair price. It's the Land of the Jawas playset, and I've been trying to find this one on eBay at the moment, but I'm about to make some phone calls to some collectors to see what they have. Another one that I'm on the hunt for that is not necessarily hard to find, but again, I can't find it in great shape, complete, and in a good-looking box, and for a fair price that I want to pay for, it's the Rebel Command Center. Again, one of the playset exclusives that was made from a reused playset foundation. I'm hoping to get the figures in baggies, so I'll see if I can get one soon. Just be patient, Padawan. There have been so many times where my buy it now finger almost pulled the trigger, and the ones that I'd be unhappy with, I just have to bide my time, get what I want and what I think I would be proud to have inside that collection. The Cloud City playset has probably been one of the most elusive playsets that I've tried to look for recently. And I have been so close to getting these. First at the ICC-Con in Nashville. This year, I was hunting for one, and I was blinded when I saw another playset I needed in the Jabba the Hutt dungeon, and I wish I would have gotten them both, because if I had just looked up or looked behind that playset, it was right there. It was in great shape for a great price, and for the record, it was selling for $750 with complete contents. It had the cardboard, sealed baggies, the figures, paperwork, and a great looking box. And items for these that I've seen for sale are coming in at almost twice that cost for an equally nice looking example. And honestly, I was about 10 minutes too late because somebody swooped in and bought that. And a classic that has been a grail item of mine even before I started this run, I bet you know which one I'm talking about. It's the Cantina Adventure Set, and this one is a super historical one for a few reasons. One, it was the first playset exclusive that you could have only gotten from the Sears holiday catalog. It also came with the blue snaggletooth, and it's not the best quality playset, but the fact that it was made with cardboard at a period when toys were just coming out, there wasn't a lot of active collectors saving these in pristine condition. So finding these for sale in a box, complete and sealed or unused contents, that's hard to find. And then when I have found this at the condition that I'm looking for, it's just either not for sale or it's for a price that's way outside my liking. The cheapest I found this for is $2,500 for a version that I thought was just in okay condition. The figures weren't even included, but the hunt goes on. So that's it for the list of what I need and what I'm still on the hunt for. But is my list really complete? I thought it was, but the more I thought about it, the more I think these playsets that I'm about to reveal deserve to be on the list of what I think makes a complete set of the vintage Kenner Star Wars playsets. And they're technically not Kenner. Yep, they weren't made by Kenner, but made by a toy company called Palitoy. They were a toy manufacturing and distributing company that was licensed by Kenner to fulfill the Star Wars line in the UK region and some of the European markets. The first playset is the Droid Factory playset, and although I have the US Kenner version, this version is special because some modification had to be made in order for this to sell in Europe and the UK. First off, it should be noted that injection molding is very expensive, and the UK market was given a challenge to redesign the Droid Factory playset with low cost, so the price points could be the same as their US counterparts. And the toy designers at Kenner and Palitoy came up with this design. So with that story in mind, that's why I chose it to be included in my collection, and one that should be in any collection if you want to say that you have a complete playset collection. And the other and final piece that I will be searching for on this run the Death Star from Palitoy. And this, I think, is one of the most iconic playsets, not only to come out from Palitoy, but the most iconic from the Star Wars vintage line. The story is similar here to the story of why it's so different to its USA counterpart. It came down to two things really. The Palitoy designers had to replace the injection molding with another cost-effective playset design, and the second one, the box, had to be able to fit the small toy shelves that were allowed for toy shops in the UK and European markets. The US box was gargantuan, and when the time came to fulfill the markets in Europe and the UK, this toy was rejected due to the large shelf space it would take, and I'll go over this toy in greater detail because I just ordered this one and it's on its way. I'll go over everything I got, how to care for it, assemble it, and the rich history in detail, plus how much I got mine for. But to understand that playset, I think you have to understand the history of the Palitoy Toy Company, and I just did a video that goes over all of that in depth, and by watching that, it's going to help you understand the reason why Palitoy had to make their toys different than what kids got in the US in the Kenner versions. So to watch that video, it's right here on your screen. And as always, my friends, thank you, and I will see you next time.
If you're new to the channel, check out the welcome video, or just check out the next episode. And please subscribe if you want to follow the journey. And remember, there is no shame in being a Padawan.